Hi guys, get ready with me to go to the eye doctor. I am going to the eye doctor because my eyesight is getting so bad. I have worn contacts and glasses for several years now, and it's just I need to update my prescription because my eyes are just not doing well. I hope that there's nothing particularly necessarily wrong with my eyes, but even when I'm wearing my contacts, there's stuff that's starting to get blurry. So anyways, I'm going to the eye doctor to either figure out what's wrong or update my prescription. Anyways, so I know that I haven't done a makeup video with you guys yet. So I want to talk about skin prep. So your skin prep for your makeup is going to be different than your daytime skincare routine, if that makes any sense. So if I'm not going to go anywhere, but I still need to take care of my skin, which you still need to take care of your skin even if you're not going anywhere, because you got to get into a pattern and a routine of taking care of your skin. Not just because, not like, you guys understand what I'm saying, what I mean by, like, you still need to do your skincare, if you're not going anywhere, because if you don't, it's going to build up and look bad. So just because you do it the day you're going into town, well, you may go into town once a week, and if you only do your skincare once a week, it's not going to look good. It's not going to have its full results, if that makes any sense. So you want to, even if you're not going anywhere, you want to do your normal skin care routine that you do. Like washing your face, moisturizers, repairs, serums, that sort of thing. Whatever you do for the daytime and the nighttime. But when you're prepping your skin for makeup, it's important to know that you do need to prep your skin before you put on makeup, because certain products are going to help it to stay on longer. Some products are going to help it to be smoother. Some products will even out the redness and even out your pores so that your makeup in general just looks better. And also, it will keep the makeup from sinking into your skin. So for those of us, we like to wear makeup. But at the same time, makeup is not necessarily super great for your skin itself, because if your makeup sinks into, gets inside your skin, that's what makes you have more pores and more acne. So if I don't use any primer, I don't use any products or skin prep at all whatsoever, if I don't, and I just immediately apply my makeup and then I wear it all day, it's going to start slowly sinking into my skin, and that's what's going to later on make more redness, make more pores. It's just going to do a whole lot of crazy stuff to your face. So it's important to understand that you do need skin prep for your makeup, and those products are going to be different. Because if you're not going to be going anywhere, and if you're not going to be going outside, you don't need to put on sunscreen. But if you are going to be going in public and you are going to be wearing makeup, you should put on sunscreen underneath your stuff. So it's just different things like that. So I'm going to show you what I do to prep my skin before I get ready. So first, I'm going to take my toner. This is by the brand Fresh, and it is the Rose Hydration Facial Toner. And there are actual pressed real roses in there. And the packaging is so pretty. It's got like just a little thing right there, so it kind of keeps it enclosed and keeps those, to where you can get out just like little droplets, if that makes any sense. So I put that on first. That's what I do. I'll take my Rose Hydration Facial Toner, and I'm just going to put that all over my face. And this will just even out your skin tone, so that it really helps with having those, if you have red patches in some areas and in other areas you don't have red patches, this will just help even out all of your skin and make it look like just one fresh blanket of skin, if that makes any sense. And then after that, you're going to take your sunscreen of your choice. And I'm using the NYX Blur Screen. It has a 30 SPF, and I love this sunscreen. It is very spreadable. So you don't need a whole lot. It's about the texture. It's in between the texture of a regular liquid and your normal sunscreen that you would use. You know how when you go to the pool, if you're going to go to the beach or something, and you're putting on your regular sunscreen, like, all over your body, and you know how it's super, super, super thick? Well, this stuff is probably not quite like your normal sunscreen. It's a little more liquidy, but not super liquidy, so it still has some thick texture to it. And it feels... smells good too. And it is also a makeup primer too. So if you wanted to skip the next step and not use primer, that's okay. But I like to use another primer on top of that, just to make sure that there's not gonna be any makeup at all gonna sink into my skin. So we got our sunscreen. Next, you're gonna take a primer of your choice. Now, I'm excited to show you guys this because I just recently bought this Iconic London Underglow Primer, and I am in love with it. It smells like banana vanilla. Oh my gosh, it smells really good, and it really does give you a nice glow. So you're just going to take it, and it is pretty spreadable, and you're just going to kind of like squirt it, everywhere. Anyways, and you will notice, and it feels nice. It has a good texture. And something else to take note of, my skin isn't peeling. So I know that these products are working well together because my skin is not peeling. And you can see, even in the natural lighting, you can just see that glow and that hydration it is giving off. I mean, it is giving such a beautiful, beautiful glow. And it smells and feels good. It really does. Okay, so that is what I do to prep my skin. I use a facial toner. Now, for those of you who have dry skin, you may find it helpful to put on a moisturizer first. Mine is a blend of dryness and oiliness, so I don't usually put on a moisturizer because some of my products are moisturizing in of themselves, and so then that might make it too oily, which would then kind of separate the makeup a little bit. If your skin's too oily, it might make you separate some of the makeup, and then you end up with like cracked makeup or lines, like broken up makeup under your eyes or something. So because I have a mixture, I'm not going to use a moisturizer and add on that extra oiliness. So that's why I didn't use a moisturizer. But for those, if you have super dry skin, I would recommend using a moisturizer first, and then using your toner of your choice, then your sunscreen, and then your primer. And then from there, you can start your makeup. Now, I wanted to show you guys something. If you're someone who likes to have full coverage, but you don't want to have a heavy makeup feeling, here's what I would recommend doing. I would take a pot concealer of your choice, and I would just take, just a little bit of your, I would just take a little bit of your pot concealer, and if you have blemishes anywhere, I would just recommend putting it directly on top of it. If you have any redness that you want to cover up, if there's any particular acne spots that you're not in love with, now for this to really work and be effective, I would recommend using this before your primer, and you'll want to let this dry a little bit. And once it kind of dries up a little bit, then you would put on your primer, and then after that, you'll do the next step. So I'm just going to let this sit for like 30 seconds to a minute and let it dry just a tad. And then I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. Anyways, so here is a helpful tip. I wanted to show you guys in one of my steps, while I let this dry, I wanted to talk to you about something. When you're doing your blush, and I'll show you guys this in a minute, you'll want to use an angled brush. Do you see how my brush kind of has like a droop? It kind of goes up a little bit, you know, it kind of is, it's angled, you know. I find using an angled brush for your blush is really helpful and getting it in the exact spot where blush is supposed to be. So if you find that you have plump cheeks like I do, if you have very shaped and very defined features like your cheeks, if they're very defined, I think it's really helpful to use an angled brush because it's kind of like, it kind of has that defined feature to it, like your cheeks, you know what I'm saying? So you would put your blush on it, and then you would let the part that curves up, you'll want that to be towards your hair. So you'll take it and you'll, you know, just dab it on. And I'll show you guys this more in particular in a minute. And then you'll go to the other side and you'll dab it on. It really puts the blush exactly where it needs to be. And I find that using an angled blush brush is really great. So, it's just a helpful tip. If you guys want to try to find an angled brush, or maybe you have an angled brush, try using a medium-sized angled brush for your blush. If you have defined plump cheeks like I do. Anyways, so I think this has had a little bit of time to dry. So after that, you're going to take your foundation of your choice. And for me, I would use the matte ABH concealer. But if you're going for a more, like I said, if you're going for a more like full coverage but not heavy makeup look, instead of using a foundation, I would recommend using a skin tint, a light coverage skin tint, and just blend it all over your face, and it'll really give you that natural skin look. It'll just look like your skin, you know what I'm saying? So it won't look super heavy. It won't look like you have a ton of makeup on your face, but you're still achieving that full coverage where you're getting rid of the redness, your acne spots are covered up, but you don't have a ton of makeup on your face. So you'll want to really just like take your skin light coverage, you know, make sure it has a little bit of coverage, you know, like in your skin tint, like a light coverage, and then just, you know, put it on top of the concealer and just blend it all over your face. It just looks like natural. It looks like it's your face with no makeup on it, and all of your redness is now washed away, and it looks really great. Now for me, I think I'm going to use this sheer glow tint. It's a stick. It's a glow tint by Charlotte Tilbury. And I love her stuff. And wait till you see this, because it is my exact skin tone. Like, she so nailed my exact skin tone. It's actually pretty impressive. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it on top of whatever. Look at that. It's like my exact skin tone. Isn't that crazy? Like, they really nailed it. Now, using a foundation skin tint that's a stick on top of this, it's going to make your concealer spread a little bit. So if you don't want it to spread out and you want it to stay just exactly where it is, I would recommend using a liquid skin tint and putting it directly on there instead of using a stick. I just like the stick because it's like my exact shade, and it's not, and my concealer kind of pretty much stayed in the same spot. It did a little bit of spread. I maybe should have let it dry a little more, and that could also be why it didn't spread. And then you just want to, you know, just blend it out. Now, for someone like me, I need full coverage just because I don't have perfect skin like really good clear skin like some of you do. Um, I have a lot of dark spots. Now it will get rid of my redness a lot of times. It'll even out the redness for me. But as you can see, it did even out the redness for me. But for me, I have to use a full coverage foundation to really, really cover those the dark spots that is on my cheeks. I put concealer on, and then I put my foundation on top of that, and that helps me to achieve a full coverage look. But that's only because I have dark spots and scarring on my face. For those of you who don't have that, if you don't have like blemishes or dark spots or scarring or things like that on your face, you're not really gonna need to use a foundation, a full coverage foundation. You can just use your skin tint. And that would work just fine. As you can see, it really evened out my skin. Like, there's no redness, but you can still see some of my blemishes, which is why I have to use a full coverage foundation. I just wanted to show you guys, you know, for those of you who don't have blemishes, what you can do to achieve. And then look at this. This looks like my natural skin. You know, it doesn't look like it doesn't really look like I have a whole lot of makeup on. It looks very natural. It's my skin shade, and it evened out all of that redness. So if you don't have blemishes, this would be perfect for you to achieve a natural makeup, no makeup look. You know what I'm saying? So now what I'm going to do, because I need full coverage, I'm going to take my matte ABH concealer, and I'm going to squirt it on my hand. I find if you take a foundation, a liquid foundation, and just squirt it once on your hand, that's all you need. Because I've noticed when you directly spray it on your face, there's a lot more, or like squirt on your face, there's a lot more foundation, and then you just end up with a heavy makeup look because you put too much foundation on your face. But if you just squirt it once on your hand, spread it a little, take your finger and dab, just like that, you're still going to get foundation everywhere you want it. But there's like, you only used one little squirt. You really didn't need that much foundation. You really honestly don't need more than 1.5 squirts, honestly. And then you just blend it in. And this also works if you don't like using heavy makeup. Just try squirting one squirt on the back of your hand, and then taking your fingertip and then just spreading it where you want your foundation. And I've learned that it really, really covers everything you want it to cover. And you've hardly put any makeup on, really. I mean, I haven't put a whole lot of makeup on. It just kind of gives you a really, really nice look.